Hey, and welcome guys to another little video. Now, today's video is going to be over our game resources, things that we use. It's kind of like one of the main layers of our game because if we wanted money, research, or something like that, it all filters into the resources that we have. So, let's take a look first because it's kind of a valuable mechanic to our little doodie here. Now, when this thing fires up, which should happen relatively soon, right? Okay, it happened. Now, let's pause. Go into our scene view here. Canvas, tell where would that actually be? Oh, right here. Okay. It's a regular old text element thing, and it lists all of our resources that we have visually, which, in all honesty, this is more of a visual thing. Resources UI, okay, and it displays our power amounts, copper amounts, steel bullets, things like that. Things that will become important for us. What's this? Oh, it's because something stupid. It's an important layer to our game that we have these resources, especially, power. Which power is its own little script in the background and stuff like that, which probably all the resources will end up being that. But we do need some type of visual layer, right? And, well, with the visual layer comes issues, and you'll have to delegate them. Because if you update this every single frame, and I have no clue why it does that. Yeah, I don't know what's up with this, but it goes all jingly and stuff like that when it's moved around a little bit. But like when I move it or something of sort or cause like a rebuild, like I don't know, like something like this, it'll straighten up. It's only in the editor does it do that. But anyway, to list this and everything else, we need a script that collects all this kind of information, which we are going to continue with our data layer versus our actual entire game thing. Okay? We've got a data layer and a visual layer, and I like to keep that throughout the whole entire thing, which means a little bit of extra work and a couple other references and stuff, but it's not that bad, right? So let's go into our code and see how this all works, right? So in our UI reference thing here, it's very simple. This is what pumps out our UI stuff, okay? We do public. It's a nice mono behavior, just like usual. Very simple, okay? But there's really no data in here, right? And that's kind of the thing that really it kind of weirds you out at first, but we don't need it to. We just need this text element here. Now, if you're doing other stuff like, changing icons and stuff like that, of course you're going to have to modify this a little. You know, there might be where you have to use a prefab here and set an icon, then the text right next to it, which is perfectly legit. But the only thing that I want right now is just text. It tells me what resources I have and stuff. If I wanted an icon right next to it, we would have to put a prefab and then have the prefab icon preset right here, in some form of a fashion. We'll probably get into that later, but first we got to get the system working, and that's the important part. You have to get your system working to see what kind of obstacles that you're going to you're going to run into. Okay, so we have this script here, which is all fine and dandy. Let's stop this here, and then we're going to go into our main game layer, and we are going to talk about game resources, our script. Okay, this is a script that's another static script like this. You have to have collections and all this stuff. We are working with UI elements, so I do believe we have to, yeah, right here when we call game resources.ui.text, we have to do stuff. Okay, so in the very beginning of the game, I get resources like this. Okay, because these are the only resources we have, and most of them aren't integrated into the thing. So if you wanted to add a new one, all you'd have to do is go my resources add, and then give yourself a string and then a amount, right? Stone, okay? So the key exists, all right? We don't have it right now where it automatically adds it. I've done it this way to have everything already pre-existing before we have to mess with anything. So that way when I go down here, well, this is a static dictionary, very easy, string and then int. That's what we're adding it to. And then we got a public static float power updater. Okay, and what this does is nothing too much besides it counts down the power updater, and if it's above 0, it goes power updater .3. I do this because I don't want the UI system to update every single frame, because it's pretty heavy. I've noticed a few frames, okay? And this is just updating the power part, okay? Because that's all we have. I'll probably later on put this in some form of a main game loop, okay? So that it'll update in a fixed time. But for now, I just use the power update to update everything, okay? And this is just for counting measures, so we don't update stuff too often. We've got power updater equals 3, and then my resources.power, and we parse it out to an integer to get power. Because I use floats for all my towers and everything else, and the reason why I use floats is because the numbers are smaller, okay? If I were to go and use nothing but integers, I could get my power numbers up to a very, very big number. And anytime you get big numbers and then it has to do math and everything else, it could slow it down a lot, okay? Because I don't want it to go above 1,000 anyway. I want that to cap out for a lot of our resources, okay? Because 1,000's pretty far out there, and you know, I just get uncomfortable with really huge numbers, because sometimes you'll get like errors and things like that. It could happen, you know? So I have it treat it as a integer, and then I update the UI. All update UI does is the static function right here, okay? So we clear the text out to be completely nothing, then we do a for each, okay? But in this for each thing, you see this item variable? This is what it is. Item.value is, if it's greater than 1, then we add it into the thing. If it's not greater than 1, it doesn't add it to the text, okay, that you see. Like, you see this? If I put all these to 0, okay, from the very beginning, it will not have any of these. They will not be in the UI at all. We get, I'll leave stone right here. Then we will save. And then we will go back into Unity. And the only thing that you should see is stone in the text. Okay? So let's try that right off the bat. Okay? So that we know how this works. I'm going to maximize this so we get maybe a little bigger text. And you see how there's no words here? Actually, that's probably pretty hard to see. So what I'm going to do is this text element thing, I want to move this and make it bigger. I'm going to make this a lot bigger. I'm going to put the font bigger too. Maybe like 30. 32 would be fine. Okay? So now, see, we only got 10 stone. And if I go down to the shop, it goes and adds 10 steel. Okay? And I can keep buying it and all that stuff, and copper. And you see how that works? So our text element only cares about that stuff. Now I have no power on there because I have no power plants. So now we should be getting power accumulated. And I'll put torrent down just to kill some stuff. And we should see power be added to this. And why is it not being added to it? Hello? What, are you going to call me a liar now? Or is something broken? Because it's not here and it's not here. What the snot bag? What the snot is going on here? Oh, there it is. Power. Boom. It's there now. That took a really long time. I'll have to take a look at that in between videos. But that's how that works. So all the resources can be there in the list. It just won't do anything if you don't have anything. Which kind of makes it nice because you don't have to worry about adding or subtracting or removing or anything like that. That makes it extra nice. It does mean these have to be, put in the game and all that stuff, but really, it's not that bad. And besides, this always exists anyway. So we can put all this stuff in here in our main menu and call this start game, and it'll be fine. And then have no other script actually call this function, which could happen. I mean, that's quite easy to do. We got a lead bullets, which this function's probably going to go away, so you don't really need to know that one. Ooh, this is the buy function that gets called in the button. Okay. Buy, get cost. Okay. This doesn't get anything, and this is a buy thing as well. This is actually what gets called from another script, but I just wanted to get you guys into this script right here. Okay, Because this one, even though it's not very complicated, it is a very important script, okay? And how it works. You've got the UI thing, okay? You just attach it to a text element. And then this, okay? Now, in all honesty, this gets called from another script, which is our very main script for everything, which I've called game behaviors. Okay? You've seen this script before, but there has been some changes. We've got a list of build objects, which this is for our turrets, and it could become for our enemies. But that's how that works. Now this is where game gets called from start. The game resources start, which could be anything. I mean, in all honesty, we could put this in the main menu thing, and then that. Then if state behavior does not equal null, call state behavior update. That's in the other thing, message thing that was added. This adds the turret to the list up here to get a physics update loop, which if you don't know where this physics game loop, where's this get called again? Oh yeah, it's down here. I was like, what? This is to add and remove it, okay? Because when we do a loop like this, we cannot have nulls. And I don't want to check for a null reference every single time. That's just dumb. It's performance heavy, and it doesn't. I don't want it to happen every single time in every single frame. Like when I go down here, state behavior, this calls a panel fixed update. I don't know why I gave it a fixed update. State behavior, yep. It's for a panel object, which is, oh yeah, because I do ray casting and stuff like that. Which I could actually, no, I won't. We could change that up so the panel object doesn't get a fixed update. But then it would mess up our ray casting, okay? So this is for fixed update on the panel objects. That's how it gets done. And this is for physics game loop, okay? This is so the players can, detect stuff. Remember the function in the turret script that's called get enemy? This is where this is called, okay? So we do a physics loop, and then we get an integer because it's a big list of everything, okay? And we're using this loop here with a certain count. This what sets the count. Every single frame that this is called right here and a fixed update, it changes the integer plus ones, and if it's beyond the count, it divides it, okay? So if it's, let's say we have a list of 10, if it tries to go to 11, it will automatically go straight to 1, okay? And every single loop, it just goes 1, 1, 1, 1. Because if our turrets all had their own fixed update, we would get way too many calls to it, and it's very, very heavy to do a spear cast the way we detect enemies every single physics update for every single one of our turns. If I put a fixed update on every single one of our turns, we would go from 60 frames to like 30. It's crazy because physics is expensive. So we use this method to delegate it to a smaller, very, very smaller blueprint. It does mean that if you use lots and lots and lots of turrets in your game, it's going to be harder for them to detect because they don't do it as often. But I do have a way to increase it. It's just I don't feel that we need it yet. Because I can make this where instead of 1, we will update 4 units at a time. Or 5 units at a time. Okay? And it wouldn't be that big of a deal to integrate it right now. But it's like the other thing. Okay? If you don't have a problem with it, don't make yourself a problem. Okay? Don't make yourself a problem when you don't have a problem. Wait, see how it works, then deal with the problem if it ever arises. See, right now, I've sit there and done this, and I've never had a problem. I've had like, oh god, like 40 some turns. I think it would be okay up until you have 60 in your list, okay? After 60, I think then you have to worry about, how much of a issue it will be. Because, you only get, in a fixed update, I think it's only called like every 0.02 seconds. Which, if your game's running, let's say, really, really good, and your fixed update is working okay, you're going every single second you're going to get 60, and that's fixed, I think, at that exact amount. I'm not too sure. You'll have to research it, but I'm pretty positive it caps out at 60. Then 60 a second. That's a lot of updates. I mean, you get 1 per frame. See, I would do this in update, but the problem is, and here's the problem with update when it goes, update works every single frame, okay? So the problem with it is, let's see, you see our graphics card? It says 108 right now. Well, let's say our game is running at like 300, okay? If I had a spear cast in an update loop, we would get 1 spear cast every frame, which means we would go beyond 100, right? Because that's how it works. This is how many updates you're going to get every single frame. One frame, 1 FPS, okay? If this said 200, you're going to get 200 a second. That's a lot of updates. That's a lot. So the idea is to get everything off of that doesn't have to update in such a huge quantity. You want to fix it where, hey, it's kind of dumb to have this guy check to make sure that there's no enemies every single frame when he has an enemy. It's kind of like if I'm pouring into a cup, okay, how fast do I have to pour? If I just stream it in there like a river, it's going to spill everywhere, and that's just stupid, right? But if I just slowly pour it in there, I don't spill anything and everything else. That's kind of how like coding works. Don't sit there and spam the crap out of everything that you possibly can, because then you're going to have frame per second issues, and your program's going to run like crap. There's no sense in this game right here, what it's got right now, requiring a computer that's got like 8-core processor just to run it. That's dumb. And the people that play it will look at you and go, no, this is poor. No, just get rid of it. Don't even play it. And then you get a bad rep and nobody plays your game, and you'll be like all depressed and stuff because you put all that work into it. Don't shoot yourself in the foot. Okay? Now adding and removing with the function, that takes care of all of our stuff. That does our physics. Now you've done the switching. You already know how to do that, okay? And I think, yeah, that's it for the script. That's our game behavior thing. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, look at how we set this up. This is a panel object, okay? In our loop, we only update one of these state behaviors. We only update the single one, okay? So when our UI comes around and does that stuff, we're not updating every single UI element in the game all the time. It's like I always say, if it doesn't need to run, turn it off. Now, that panel object, it's because building, this is building mode, okay? This is upgrade mode, right? We go upgrade, upgrade, and this is research. But the only thing that actually runs all the time is research because we need it to research, right? Building mode only needs to work when we're building. Any other time, it'd be stupid. You know, why have building mode have an if statement? If in building mode, do this. If in this. If in that. No. We fixed all that stuff. But that is the game resources script. Okay. Now, hopefully, if you watch the other videos, you'll be able to integrate this into your kit that you're sitting here typing out and everything. If you're missing something, don't worry. It'll eventually get up on YouTube. It's just one of those things where, you know, I just got to slowly make it to that script. Because I've got 8 or 9 different scripts that I want to do, that I want to show you, but I have to slowly work up to every single one. Because I also have to debug them too, you know. Who wants to get a code that just don't work? Because for a while I had issues with the updates on the UI elements. Okay, because I had it in every single frame, my frames were going down like 40, 30, and I'm like, no. So that's kind of the delay on that one. But, you know, the UI element thing isn't very important until later anyway. So if it doesn't work for you, make sure you just keep it around and stuff, because it will eventually make it out there and the code will work. Trust me, I'll get it to work. Maybe a while, but I'll show you how to get it to work. But this is Wardon, over and out, and thank you very much. And if you're waiting for enemies and stuff like that, I think today will be the day that you probably will get a basic form of it, the basic crawler ones. I'm just, you know, waiting for the video to upload and everything like that. So, peace out, guys, and I am out of here. Have a nice day.